The pineapple has been a symbol of hospitality since the days of the early American colonies. The legend began with the sea captains of New England, who sailed among the Caribbean islands and returned to the colonies bearing their cargo of fruits, spice, and rum. According to the legend, the captain would spare a pineapple on a fence post outside his home to let his friends know of his safe return from sea. The pineapple was an invitation for them to visit, share his food and drink, and listen to tell of his voyage. As the tradition grew, colonial innkeepers added the pineapple to their signs and advertisements, and bedposts carved in the shape of a pineapple were a common sight as is across New England. The legend has continued to the present. Frequently one sees the pineapple symbol in hotels and restaurants to signal the presence of hospitality. 7. The pineapple has been a symbol of hospitality since the days of the early American colonies. The legend began with the sea captains of New England, who sailed among the Caribbean islands and returned to the colonies bearing their cargo of fruits, spice, and rum. According to the legend, the captain would spare a pineapple on a fence post outside his home to let his friend know of his safe return from sea. The pineapple was an invitation for them to visit, share his food and drink, and listen to tell of his voyage. As the tradition grew, colonial innkeepers added the pineapple to their signs and advertisements. The bedposts carved in the shape of a pineapple were a common sight as is across New England. The legend has continued to the present, and frequently one sees the pineapple symbol in hotels and restaurants to signal the presence of hospitality. 8. The pineapple has been a symbol of hospitality since the day of the early American colonies. The legend began with the sea captains of New England, who sailed among the Caribbean islands and returned to the colonies bearing their cargo of fruits, spice, and rum. According to the legend, the captain would spare a pineapple on a fence post outside his home to let his friend know of his safe return from sea. The pineapple was an invitation for them to visit, share his food and drink, and listen to tell of his voyage. As the tradition grew, colonial innkeepers added the pineapple to their signs and advertisements, and bedposts carved in the shape of a pineapple were a common sight as is across New England. The legend has continued to the present, and frequently one sees the pineapple symbol in hotels and restaurants to signal the presence of hospitality. 9. The pineapple has been a symbol of hospitality since the days of the early American colonies. The legend began with the sea captain of New England, who sailed among the Caribbean islands and returned to the colonies, bearing their cargo of fruits, spice, and rum. According to the legend, the captain would spare a pineapple on a fence post outside his home to let his friends know of his safe return from sea. The pineapple was an invitation for them to visit, share his food and drink, and listen to tales of his voyage. As the tradition grew, colonial innkeepers added the pineapple to their signs and advertisements. The bedposts carved in the shape of a pineapple were a common sight as is across New England. The legend has continued to the present, Frequently one sees the pineapple symbol in hotels and restaurants to signal the presence of hospitality. 10. The pineapple has been a symbol of hospitality since the days of the early American colonies. The legend began with the sea captains of New England, who sailed among the Caribbean islands and returned to the colonies, bearing their cargo of fruits, spice, and rum. According to the legend, the captain would spear a pineapple on a fence post outside his home to let his friend know of his safe return from sea. The pineapple was an invitation for them to visit, share his food and drink, and listen to tales of his voyage. As the tradition grew, colonial innkeepers added the pineapple to their signs and advertisements, and bedposts carved in the shape of a pineapple were a common sight as is across New England. The legend has continued to the present, and frequently one sees the pineapple symbol in hotels and restaurants to signal the presence of hospitality. Thank you. 讲评。
我觉得它可以念得慢一点，然后可以有语调一点，然后单词可以再面熟一点。好，谢谢。